Hey everyone, welcome to the Always Developing Leader. I'm JJ Shawver, and today we're cutting straight to the chase with our episode titled, What Are You Waiting For? No fluff, no filler, no filter. We're going to talk about why so many of us are taking the easy road and how we can start living with real intention in our life. You're here, I'm assuming, because you want more from life. And I'm here to help make that happen. So let's get into it. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room. I'm not sure if anybody knows what that elephant might be, but with the episode today, I want you to know that the elephant is why so many of us are stuck on the easy road, stuck in complacency. We live in a world that's designed to make us comfortable, right? Instant gratification is just a click away, whether it's scrolling through social media sites, binge watching TV shows, ordering takeout instead of cooking a healthy meal. Man, we become addicted to convenience. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with being comfortable, it becomes a big problem when it prevents us from growing and achieving what we truly, down deep, should be achieving and what our true potential really has for us. I want to share a little story. It's a personal story. A few years ago, I was in just a horrible place. I was consistently busy, but honestly, I was getting nowhere. I wasn't making any real progress. I was putting out fires, it seemed like everywhere, dealing with one crisis after another. But at the end of the day, I was so unfulfilled. Nothing in my life was where I wanted it. I knew it was time for me to wake up. It was a wake-up call that I had been honestly hoping for a long time. And I realized that if I wanted to achieve my goals, if I wanted to achieve in life what I really knew that I could, that I was going to, honest to God, I was going to have to do something different. I was going to have to, put on my big boy panties, if that makes sense. Put on my undies, put on my big boy undies. I needed to make a change. I needed to start living intentionally. And I'd heard that word intentionality before, living intentionally, but didn't really even know what it meant. And it wasn't an overnight transformation. Let me tell you that. It was a journey. And that's what we're going to be here talking about today. How you can start your journey towards intentional living. So, the purpose of today's episode is to inspire you to stop waiting and start living your life with intention. We're going to dive deep into what intentional living really means and why it's important even. And I'm going to share with you some practical, actionable steps, some hacks, if you will, to help get you started. We're going to also draw from some inspirations from great mentors of mine and just some people that I've looked up to and been reading for a long time, some great thought leaders. And find strength in some spiritual guidance as well. So are you ready? Let's go. Let's be honest. We live in a world where the easy road is so tempting. It's everywhere. Instant gratification is just a click away a lot of times. We're bombarded with distractions from social media, endless entertainment on our phones, wherever we look, the constant pull of doing what's comfortable and avoiding what's challenging. People are coming up with ways in every aspect of your life to make it easier. There's nothing out there, I don't feel like, that's challenging anymore. But here's the cool thing. The easy road, it leads us nowhere. And the cool thing about that is, if you know that, then you know the easy road is not where you should be. It's a trap. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us feeling unfulfilled, and it keeps us wondering why we're not where we really want to be in life. The easy road is about avoiding discomfort. It's about, let's face it, growth happens outside of our comfort zone. Look at anyone, look at anybody who's achieved something significant. They didn't get there from taking shortcuts. Anything, think about in your personal life. What's something that you've just had given to you or didn't have to work at all for that has been amazing? Is there anything that's just been given to you just because? People have to face their fears. You have to tackle challenges head on. You have to make the tough choices. And the thing is, you have to do it when people are watching and when people aren't watching. This is what intentional living is all about. It's about making the hard decisions when people are looking and when they're not, that align with our true values and goals, where we want to be. Let's break it down just a little further. Why? Why do we take the easy road? There are a few key reasons that I know personally I've struggled with, and I'm sure a lot of other people have struggled with. So I did some research and have been researching this as to why we do take the easy road. And here's what I've come up with. The number one reason that I've found that we are on the easy road is fear of failure. We're afraid to fail. We fear that if we try something new, if we try something challenging, we might not succeed. The fear, it paralyzes us. It keeps us from even taking action. The second thing that I found was loss of clarity. So many of us don't even have a clear vision of what we want in life. Without a clear vision, without a clear direction, how are you supposed to get there? It's so easy to get distracted and to take the path of least resistance. The third thing I found is comfort and habit. Humans are creatures of habit. We all know this. We gravitate towards what's familiar, what's comfortable, even when it's not what's best for us. Breaking out of these habits, it's hard. It requires effort. It requires commitment. The fourth thing that I came up with is instant gratification. We've talked about this numerous times already today. But in today's digital age, we're used to getting things, and we're used to getting what we want when we want instantly. It reminds me of this old commercial on TV that I used to see all the time, way too much. It's like, I forget, I want it now. Something that has to do with money, and I want it now. This guy dressed in a suit that had dollar bills all over it, or $100 bills all over it. I want it now. Instant gratification. That was kind of, I think, the very brink of the instant gratification era that we are in right now. And it's horrible. The constant need for instant gratification makes it so difficult for us to work towards long-term goals. It requires patience. These require perseverance. And then the fifth thing I came up with is overwhelm and burnout. Sometimes the easy road seems like the only way when we don't have maybe the energy or the resources to take on more challenging tasks. That's a problem. So we're going to come up with ways that we can maybe generate more energy, that we can find more resources. But I'll tell you something. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and there is some good news. You have the power to change all of this. You have the power to choose the path of intentional living. And doing that changes your life. It starts with recognizing these barriers, those 5 barriers I just talked about, right? Fear of failure, lack of clarity, comfort and habit, instant gratification, overwhelm and burnout, okay? Starts with recognizing those barriers and then making a conscious decision every day to overcome them as best that you can. So, what does it mean to really live intentionally. Like I said earlier, it's about making conscious choices every single day that move you towards the life you truly want. Let me say that again. Intentional living is about making conscious choices every single day that move you towards the life you truly want. It's about saying no when people are looking or not looking to what doesn't serve you, and yes to what does. Even when it's hard, intentional living starts with clarity. You need to know what you want in life and why you want it. This isn't some vague idea of success or happiness, right? This is specific. It's personal. It's got to be deeply rooted in your core values. Without this clarity, you're going to drift through life. You're going to let circumstances dictate your direction instead of actually letting your actions dictate what happens and the consequences and the successes. So I want to dive just for a second into the components when we're talking about intentional living, because we need a few things to really live intentionally. The number one thing that we need is clarity and vision. Intentional living begins with a clear vision of what you want to achieve. This vision should be, it needs to be, it must be detailed, it must be specific, it must align with our core values. Spending time reflecting on what our real goals, what our real aspirations are, we need to write them down. We need to visualize them. We have got to have clarity on these, reflecting on our goals. The clarity, it will serve us. It will serve us almost as, I would say, our guiding star, if you will. All right. The second thing that we need is purpose, and we need meaning. Living with intention means understanding your purpose, right? What drives you? What gets you going? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What are you passionate about? What impact do you want to have on the world? Your purpose, it gives your life meaning, and it motivates you to take action. You know, if you have true meaning in your life, then the motivation seems to come. A third thing you need is aligning actions with your values. So if every decision that you make, it needs to or should align with your core values. The alignment ensures that you're living authentically to your true self and staying true to who you really are. It also makes decision making so much easier because you have a clear framework to guide you. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know what your core values are. You know what you are truly striving for. So if someone is doing something that maybe doesn't align with those true core values of yours, or your values in your life, it's a heck of a lot easier to say, sorry, nope, that does not align with my core values, with my values in my life. Stay true to yourself. Okay. Fourth thing you need is mindful decision-making skills. Intentional living requires mindfulness. It just, that's a bottom line. It requires mindfulness. Your life will not be full if you don't have mindfulness in your life. It requires mindfulness in daily decisions. It's about being fully present, being fully aware of your choices, and then their impact not only on you, but on you and the people around you. This mindfulness, it helps. It really helps you to stay focused, and it helps us to avoid distractions. The fifth thing you need to be able to set priorities. Intentional living, you have to be able to set clear priorities. Not everything is equally important. I promise you that. Identify the tasks, identify the activities that will have the greatest impact on your goals, on the organization, on what you're looking to do, and then focus on them. You know, I had a boss, a CEO one point in time in my life tell me it was a sales role, and he said a membership role or something. And he said, all members are created just not created equal. But it makes a lot of sense because there are things that are more important that are going to move you further along in your life, in your personal fulfillment than others. Focus on those. The sixth thing you need is commitment. You need commitment to growth. Growth is a continuous process. It's something you need to do every day. Intentional living means committing to personal and professional growth in your life. This commitment, it involves embracing challenges, learning from the failures that you have, and then consistently seeking opportunities to grow, opportunities to improve. Remember, growth does not always happen. It happens a lot of times through discomfort. In fact, all the time. Growth happens through discomfort. So if you're comfortable, you're probably not living the most fulfilling life you could be. I can promise you that. And the seventh thing that I really, truly, strongly know that you need is reflection, and then to be able to adjust on that. So regular reflection, it's essential for intentional living. Take time to review your progress. Celebrate when you win and identify when you need to improve. This reflection, it really does helps us all to stay on track and make the necessary adjustments that we need to when we need to. Because every single day we should be adjusting on what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, when we're doing it. To illustrate the power of intentional living, I want to draw from just some wisdom from some of our greatest thought leaders. I want to start by talking about, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this guy, Stephen Covey. He's the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Great book. He really emphasizes the importance of beginning with the end in mind. How many of us are doing that? Viktor Frankl. I'm sure you've heard that name before. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he highlighted the human drive for purpose. I mean, it's an amazing book. Brene Brown, another name I'm sure you've heard. She's known for her work in vulnerability. She teaches us how to embrace our imperfections and how to live authentically. These insights, they provide a foundation for understanding and practicing the thought of intentional living. All right, let's dive into some practical hacks for living intentionally. I've told you a whole bunch of details. Now let me tell you some hacks. These aren't just tips. They're commitments you need to make to yourself. So the first one is you need to get clear on your values. Spend some time understanding what truly matters to you. I'm not talking about what society says you should value or what your friends or family value. What you value. Write it down. Reflect on it. Your values, they are your guiding stars. Without them, you don't have anything. Here's a quick exercise for you to take if you don't know what your values are and you need to get clear on that. Take out a piece of paper and list your top 5 values. And then behind them, write out a few sentences about why each of these values is important to you and how it influences your life. This exercise, it will help you gain clarity on what is important to you and then serve as a reference point when you're going back and making decisions. All right. The second thing is what I like to call the intentional 3 goals. So I want you to forget about all your long to-do lists. All right. Focus on your intentional 3 goals every day. These are your top 3 things that will move you closer to your big life goals, your bigger life goals, right? So every single evening before you go to bed, identify your 3 priorities for the following day. and then commit to them. All right. This keeps you focused and ensures that you're making progress on what truly matters in your life, on what truly is going to fulfill you. All right. Here's how to implement this. Every single evening, take a few minutes to write down your ITG, or intentional 3 goals for the day. All right. For that following day. Make sure that the goals that you write, they're specific, they're actionable, and then they align with your larger vision. I want you to review progress at the end of the day, every single day, and then adjust as needed, because every day you should be adjusting. And if you don't get something done, don't get down on yourself. Move it to the next day. You can do it. All right. The third thing is embracing discomfort. Grow. And to grow, growth and comfort, they don't coexist. If you want to grow, you need to if you want to grow, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Does that make sense? Growth and comfort do not coexist. So if you want to grow, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, whether it's having a difficult decision being, that you have to make, or maybe it's having a difficult conversation, taking on those challenging projects, or maybe it's just pushing yourself physically, eating better. Lean into the discomfort, lean into it. It's where the magic happens. I promise that. When that discomfort's there, you're growing because you can push through it. And then to practice this, you can start by just identifying one area of your life, identify one area of your life where you have been avoiding discomfort. Commit to taking one small step in that area. All right. Forward, that is. For example, if you're avoiding a difficult conversation at work, right? Just go ahead and schedule time to have it. If you're avoiding physical exercise, commit to a short workout. You can do it. Each step will build your resistance, your resilience, your confidence. It works. You can do this. Okay, the fourth thing is eliminate distractions. Identify your biggest distractions. You have to identify them and then cut them out of your life. What is it? Social media? Is it TV? Is it browsing on the internet? Whatever it is, limit it or eliminate it completely. Create a focused environment where you can focus on your work, on your intentional 3 goals without the constant interruptions, right? You can do this. Conduct maybe a distraction audit for 1 week. Track how you spend your time and identify your biggest distractions. Then create a plan to eliminate or reduce these distractions. For example, you might set a specific time for checking email or social media, or create a designated workspace free from distractions. I'll tell you what I did. I have 3 different times now that I check my phone for text messages. That's just what I do. I don't answer calls very seldom anymore, unless I know who it is or I'm expecting a phone call. And then I check my text messages every day, 3 times a day, at the exact same time. That has cut down so much just wasted time out of my life, because what I'm doing is I'm taking the time that I was pulling my phone out of my pocket and checking my messages and doing all the things. I'm taking a lot of that out because I'm just pulling my phone out 3 times a day and I'm checking them all, replying to them all, and I'm done. You can do that. And it really, for me, it worked miracles. Okay. The 5th thing, you need to always, like I've mentioned, reflect and adjust. At the end of the day, take a few minutes, reflect on how the day went. Did it go well? What did go well? What didn't go well? Be specific with that. What can you improve on tomorrow? Intentional living is a continuous process. It's a process I work on every single day from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed. It's a reflection. It's a continuous process of reflection and adjustment. It's about learning from your experiences and then making the choices, better choices, when those experiences arise next time. So here is a reflection exercise I use. Each evening, just take a minute. what I do is I take 5 minutes to journal about how my day went. About this practice will help you stay focused. It will help you in your intentional living journey. Sixth thing is mindfulness and presence. You have to practice mindfulness. All right. Being fully present, being in the moment, whether it's through meditation, mindful breathing, or maybe it's just paying attention to your surroundings, right? Mindfulness enhances your mental clarity and the intentional decision making in you. All right. To incorporate mindfulness into a daily routine of yours, what I did was I started with just a simple practice of mindful breathing. I set aside just a couple minutes each day and I focused on my breath. Noticed the sensations that were coming in, that I was exhaling. It really did help me to stay grounded. It helped me to become more present, even in the midst of my busy days. If I was able to do a little bit of mindful breathing, it really did seem to help. And then 7, family and relationships. Intentional living isn't just about you. I mentioned this earlier. It's about your loved ones too, the people that are close to you. Engage in activities that strengthen those family bonds, that strengthen those friendships, family meals, game nights, outdoor activities. Lead by example and demonstrate the values you want to instill in your children, in the loved ones, and then the people just around you. To foster intentional relationships, create rituals. What I did was I created a ritual that brought my family closer together. I established a weekly family dinner where we just sat, we ate, we shared the highlights, the challenges from the week, and it was awesome. It really did help strengthen our connection, and it helped us to start building a more supportive family culture. And health and wellness. You need to prioritize your physical health. I cannot stress this enough. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, all 3 of those are so foundational. A healthy body supports a healthy mind, enabling you to live with greater intention. I promise you that. To enhance your health and your wellness, I really suggest to create a balanced routine. That's what I started doing. And that's something like that would include like regular physical activity. I started going to the gym 3 times a week, nutritious meals, and significant sleep. You have to get significant sleep. You have to set realistic goals and then track your progress. Remember, small, consistent steps towards the right thing lead to significant changes over time. All right. Drawing inspiration from some great thought leaders, I just want to talk to you because these are some things that have given me hope. Some thought leaders, spiritual guidance, they fuel me, and hopefully they can fuel your intentional living journey too. All right. So one of my thought leader, John Maxwell, I don't know if you know John, but he's a renowned leadership expert. He emphasizes importance of personal growth and personal development. He is awesome, and he has book after book after book after book. But Maxwell's law of intentionality states growth doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional about it. This means making deliberate choices to grow every single day. All right, Simon Sinek, I'm sure you've heard of him. His concept of start with why encourages us to identify our purpose and make intentional choices to align, right? Sinek, he teaches us that when we understand our why, then the actions, they become more meaningful. They become more impactful. He also teaches us that technology is harmful right now towards us. And I would suggest looking him up. Jim Rohn, he's a motivational speaker. Someone I look up to big time, teaches us that our lives are shaped by our daily disciplines, right? The daily disciplines that we practice. He says that success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. This highlights the importance of consistency and the commitment in living intentionally. And then the Bible, right? My greatest teacher provides profound insights into intentional living, right? Proverbs 16 verse 9 says, the heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. This reminds me, it really reminds me to seek divine guidance in everything that I do and in all of my actions. Faith can be so powerful, and it can be an anchor in living intentionally. It has been in my life. It's about aligning our actions with a higher purpose and finding strength in spiritual practices like prayer and meditation. So here's how I've incorporated some spiritual guidance into my intentional living practice, everyday practice. I sit down, I do daily prayer. I've set aside time each day for prayer. I use this time to seek guidance, to express gratitude, and to reflect on my intentions. Praying, for me, it provides clarity, comfort, and direction. I love it. Some scripture reflection. All right. I spend time reading and reflecting on scripture. I choose passages that resonate with my goals, with my values. I reflect on how the teachings guide me, my actions, and my decisions. All right. And then community support. I engage with my faith community for support and accountability. I have a faith community in my church. I surround myself with people that are like-minded, that provide encouragement, that provide motivation in my life and in my intentional living journey. And drawing from some inspiration from both thought leaders and spiritual teachings, they can provide, then they have provided me and can provide you with a well-rounded foundation for intentional living. It's about integrating these insights into our daily lives and allowing them to guide our actions and our decisions. Procrastination is the killer of dreams. It's the enemy of intentional living. So how do we beat it? Understanding procrastination, recognize that procrastination often stems from fear of failure. We talked about that earlier. Fear of the unknown, fear of not being good enough. To overcome it, you need to confront it. Confront these fears head on. Some strategies I've used to overcome procrastination: start by breaking down tasks into smaller, manageable steps, right? When a task feels too big, like it's, easy to pull it off, break it down and take it step by step. First step, use accountability partner, someone who can check in with you, keep you on track, celebrate the progress, your wins, reward yourself for completing tasks, no matter how small or how big. Here are some detailed strategies that I have personally used to overcome procrastination. The first thing I've done is break tasks into smaller steps. We just talked about that, right? Large tasks can seem so overwhelming. It seems it's so easy to procrastinate when you got stuff like that ahead of you. Break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. Focus on completing one step at a time. This approach reduces overwhelm and makes it easier to get started. The ITG is a perfect way to do that. Set specific deadlines. This has got to be done by this time. And this is why. Keeps you accountable and it ensures that you're making constant progress. Then use accountability partners. We just talked about that. Having someone check, make sure that you're doing what you say, that can provide you motivation, that can provide you support. And now accountability partner is someone who can encourage you, hold you accountable, make sure you get your goals reached. Schedule regular check-ins with these people to discuss the progress you've made, challenges you're facing. They can help you. Create a positive environment. If your environment sucks, your intentional living strategy probably sucks. Your environment plays such a significant role in your productivity. I promise you, create a workspace that is free from distractions and conducive to focused work. It sounds so simple, but it's so profound. Surround yourself with positive influences that can inspire you and can motivate you. And then practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Understand that procrastination is a common challenge. All right. Everybody faces it. It's okay to struggle, but you have to practice being nice to yourself, that self-compassion part, and avoid self-criticism. Focus on progress rather than perfection. Taking the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Start small and build momentum through constant action. Real life examples of people who have overcome procrastination can inspire you and motivate you. I looked up so many people who have overcome the unthinkable to get to where they're at today. Just here are a few examples that I have really found motivating. First one is J.K. Rowling. All right. She's an author, all of the Harry Potter books. But before she became a best-selling author, she actually faced numerous rejections. She had challenge after challenge. Despite these setbacks, she persevered. She continued writing, and her dedication and her persistence eventually led to the creation of, like I said, Harry Potter series. That's pretty big. Number 2, Walt Disney. If you don't know him, you probably aren't alive. Walt Disney faced so many failures and setbacks in his early career. He was fired from newspaper job. He faced bankruptcy multiple times. But I'll tell you what, Walt, he remained committed to his vision and he continued to pursue his dreams. His perseverance led to the creation of one of the most successful entertainment companies in the world, Disney. And then the third one that I want to talk about, and we're running out of time, is Thomas Edison. He is a famous inventor, but he's famous for his invention of the electric light bulb. But he faced so many failures. He conducted thousands of experiments before successfully inventing the electric light bulb. His determination and resilience are a testament to the power of perseverance and persistence and intentional living. I just want to thank you for joining me. And as we wrap up today's episode, let's recap on a few key points that we've covered, all right? And we've discussed the importance of intentional living, right? Practical hacks to implement intentional living into our lives. And then we drew inspiration from thought leaders and spiritual guidance, right? Overcoming procrastination and taking action are so crucial in the steps that we need to take towards living a life full of intention. Here's my challenge for you. Start implementing these hacks today, all right? Reflect on your values. Set your intentional 3 goals for tomorrow and take small, deliberate steps towards achieving them, all right? You can set them, but if you don't take those steps towards achieving them, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to share your progress and your stories with us. I would love to hear from you. I want you to remember, intentional living is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. It's not a destination. It's not something you get to. It's not someplace you arrive. It's about making conscious choices every day that align with your true self and your values. What are you waiting for? Start living intentionally today. Thank you so much again for joining me on Always Developing Leader. Let's make intentional living a way of life. Until next time, live with purpose, live with intention. I believe in you. And one more thing before we go, if you found today's episode valuable, if you found any value in it, please share it with your family, with your friends. Let's spread the message of intentional living and help more people take control of their lives. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you again for being here. And remember, you have the power to create the life you want. It starts with a single step. Take that single step today. I'm cheering you on. Until next time, stay intentional and stay focused. You've got this. See you next time.